Wonderful. Now, it is my absolute delight and pleasure to welcome you all to our very first yoga session here at Joint School. I am really delighted that we're doing this, because I think increasingly more and more people are seeing how yoga can benefit both mind and body. And certainly it's something that I've personally have found is and has been one of the most effective tools for me in my sort of armory against chronic pain. And so it's an absolute honor to welcome Vaccasin from Yoga Point in Brixton in South London. And I'll just link it up so that we're both in view. Hello there, Vaccasin.
Hi there, Axel.
Fantastic. Now, I'm really delighted that you're joining us for this 10-minute yoga session, especially for those who are awaiting hip or knee replacement surgery. But could well be applicable for others as well. And the focus will really be on the legs. It'll be quite gentle. But of course, as with all the exercises and all the advice and information and topics we cover, this is not medical advice, and it may not be appropriate for everyone. So if you ever feel, as you're following through with this routine, that something doesn't feel quite right or that there's resistance, don't push into it, and always sort of speak with the clinicians that that know you personally. But we do hope that many of you out there will find this a helpful starter, because it's hopefully the first of a couple of these sessions, and that for some it may well be an introduction to what yoga can offer, and for others it may be an alternative and something that they can do despite of either knee or hip problems and so on.
Great.
And I think really with the session, is there anything you'd like to say about what we're going to cover? And then very soon thereafter, I will sort of hop out. So it'll just be you on screen, Vaccasin, and it'll all be over to you. And then we'll do a bit of a quick sign off at the end.
Yeah, there's not much I really want to add from what you've already said, Axel. I mean, obviously taking precautions. I always say in classes, and I do run various types of classes for those with much less mobility and others who are really quite flexible and, for want of a better word, fit. But always say, if you're hitting difficulties, it may well be that there is unpleasant experience. And if you can work with unpleasant experience, fine, but you don't want it to be pain. And if you're unsure, just err on the side of caution, err on the side of ease. In that way, you can just kind of keep the posture work, keep what might be called even the practice enjoyable, rather than be trying to push or trying to make things better. Let nature take its course in many ways.
Fantastic. I think that sounds very wise. And well, now over to you, Vaccasin, and thank you.
Thanks a lot there, Axel. Okay, as Axel said, my name's Vaccasin, and today we're going to do a couple of very light exercises, posture work, what can be called and considered to be the Yogasana, the posture work of yoga. And we're going to be using a chair. If you're using a chair, best thing is to have a chair without armrests, and that is stable. Stable so that if you sit toward the front edge, it's in no way going to topple forward. Other chairs can be used, like the one that I have on my left here, and they can be useful for sure. Obviously, that one has armrests, but it can be adapted, the postures can be adapted to suit those types of chairs as well. But if you have one without arms, so much the better, and obviously just making sure that it's nice and stable. From there, you're going to sit toward the front edge, not right on the front edge, toward the front edge, so you're well purchased, and as you settle, spreading the soles of the feet, opening up the soles of the feet, broadening across the base of the body by moving almost like the backs of the thighs out, even moving the flesh of the buttocks back so that you're coming onto your sitting bones. In this way, the pelvis becomes that little bit more upright and the spine can ascend, can draw upwards. The head poised and balanced on the upper vertebra of the spine, so the neck muscles are soft, and the hands at this point just on the thighs toward the knees, so you can relax the shoulders. To help the shoulders relax, lifting the shoulders toward the ears, drawing them up, and then releasing, letting go, even turning the head from side to side a little, just getting some freedom through the back of the spine, the cervical spine, where the nerves leave the upper part of the body down through into the rest of the body. With the hands on the thighs, you just close the eyes for a few moments. Or if you prefer, keeping the eyes open, but softening the gaze toward the floor. You tune in to your environment. You may be at home, or you may be in a different environment to the one you're used to, and you're just tuning in to your sense impressions. Sound, light, temperature, the contact of the body on the seat, feet on the floor. You're going to take a couple of breaths. You just emphasize the exhalation a little. You're not trying to squeeze the breath out of the body. You emphasize the exhalation. And then you inhale, lifting the chest, drawing the breath more in toward middle or upper chest. And then you exhale. Just bringing a sense of calmness when using the breath in this way to the mind, and just helping the body to settle, almost arrive. You want the feet to be on the floor, so if you're finding that your feet are maybe slightly raised and you're not contacting the floor with ease, you can always come a little bit further forward on the chair, or you can have books or even cushions underneath the feet. For the first exercise, we're going to go through a leg extension on both sides. You lift the chest, opening the chest, head poised and balanced, and you're straightening your right leg out in front of you. With the right leg straightened out in front of you, you begin to extend the heel into the floor, even extending the foot further forward, opening up the back of the leg. If you have the freedom of movement, you can come forward, just giving a little bit more extension to the back of the leg as you extend into the arch of the foot, the heel, and the ball of the foot. From there, you come up, bending the knees, sole of the foot on the floor, lifting the chest, head poised and balanced on the upper vertebra of the spine, and then to the other side, straightening your left leg. As you straighten the left leg, lifting, you can just remain in an upright position, extending into the heel so the toes point more toward the ceiling and making the leg firm. If you have the ease of movement, you come forward, maybe taking the hands just below the knee or just above the knee and just pressing gently as you open up the back of the leg. Bending the knee, you come back to the central position, lifting the chest, head poised and balanced. To the other side again, straightening the right leg. Here, again, if there is intensity through the back of the leg, just remaining upright, having the toes pointing up and extending through the heel so you get the back of the knee joint just opening. Those of you that have the freedom, you can extend through the ball of the foot, working the toes or the ball of the foot more toward the floor. In no way trying to push the ball of the foot onto the floor, but just extending through the front of the foot. Making the leg firm, sucking the kneecap in gently, drawing the thighs up to make the thigh firm, lifting the chest, and if you have the ease of movement, you can again go forward, opening up the back of the leg, using a bit of pressure to give that straightening and opening to the back of the leg. And then again, coming back to center, bending the knee, good, lift through the upper body, opening the chest, nice and broad across the collarbones. To your left side, again, straightening the left leg, and for those that have a tightness and restriction, keeping the toes upright, just keeping lifted, that left leg straightening. If you have the ease of movement where it's available to you, begin to point the toes forward, even maybe spreading the toes. Again, the emphasis is not trying to push the toes or the ball of the foot to the floor, but just extending through the front of the foot. Good lift, and if you have the ease of movement, you can again go forward, opening up the back of the leg. You can use some gentle pressure to just extend open the back of the knee joint, making the knee tuck in or suck in and the thigh draw up. And again, back up you come to center, you lift. Again, you can try those exercises once more each side, straightening the leg, or for those of you that have a bit more ease of movement and freedom, you lift the chest up, remembering if this is available to you, or you can do what you were doing previously, just each side. For those of you that want to try this, you now straighten your right leg out in front, spread the toes, make the leg firm, inhalation, exhalation, lift the chest, and you release down to the other side, lifting the chest broad across the upper body. Again, maybe keeping the heel on the floor as you were doing previously, or again, straightening now your left leg. Straightening the left leg, opening up the back of the knee, spreading the toes. Inhalation, exhalation, and you release. And down, and you soften. You can even move the body, get some freedom through the various spaces of the body, head poised and balanced. From there, we'll work into a twist. Now, you won't need to move or change your chair. I will get up in a few moments and turn the chair around so that you can see what I'm doing with the hands on the back of the chair. What you do at this point, though, is you turn to your right side. So you turn on the chair, you turn to the right side, and with that, you may need to adjust so that you feel fairly settled in the pelvis on the base of the chair, feet on the floor. I would tend to bring the knees toward each other or even against each other, and that means bringing the feet in as well. Good lift in the upper body. Now, one thing I'll mention at this point is that if you are on a chair that has arms, you can still do this. Again, feet on the floor, not turning to the chair, but just using the arms of the chair, or even having your left hand on your outer right knee and your left hand on the arm of the chair. Those of you that have the freedom, you can use the arm of the chair like so, head poised and balanced. For those of you using the chair that you've been in, maybe without arms, as I said, I'll just turn this chair around. You will have turned to your right, so you'll have the outer right thigh more toward the back of the chair. Here, you're then turning, lift the chest, head poised and balanced. Again, just noting, keeping the legs fairly close together, if not actually lightly touching. You're bringing your left hand onto the back of the chair. Your right hand also comes to the back of the chair. But here, the heel of the right hand pushes against the front edge of the back of the chair. And the left hand, being around the back, pulls gently towards you. But again, there is a real lightness of touch here. You don't have to do very much at all. Almost putting yourself in this position gives the back both spine and muscles turn, and that may be sufficient. Lifting the elbows up just a little away from the sides of the body broadens the back of the body even further. You have large latissimus muscles that help broaden you out with the elbows raised. Head poised and balanced. Here, the left hand against the back of the chair pulls gently towards you. The right hand pushing gently away, using the back of the chair as a very gentle lever. At this point, make sure that your shoulders are dropped away from the ears, head poised and balanced. You don't have to go very far at all, but the release of neck through turning the head more toward right shoulder, and then around to the left, and then again round back to the right. Again, not pushing, not forcing, just finding the space and the movement. Another breath, lifting the chest, turning that little bit more, and you release around to the front. and soften. Often coming out of this, you can feel not much is needed to feel those muscles working in the back of the body. From there, you come back to center and then all the way around to the other side. Again, if you're using a chair with the arms, you're just turning to the other side. Those of you who have turned the legs around, just bringing the legs, feet toward each other, even together. And here now, the left side of the body is more toward the back of the chair. You're turning, your right hand going to the back, your left hand on the back of the chair, but more toward its front. And you're going to use the arms to gently rotate. The right hand almost pulling you around, pulling the right side around, just gently. Left heel of the hand pushing gently away, so the left side rib cage begins to turn that little bit more. The lift in the elbows helps broaden the back, shoulders away from the ears. Inhalation, exhalation, keeping that lightness of touch, that ease of movement, so the breath can move in and out of the body, and you're not squeezing the breath out of the body. Even turning the head, you can turn the head again toward left shoulder, and then around to right. And again round to the left side. Again, keeping the neck muscles soft, getting some movement through the upper spine, upper thoracic spine, cervical spine. Last breath. And you come round to the front. Bringing the knees all the way round to the front. Again, I'll change my chair around. And you remain seated and just being with your experience, be it pleasant, or you're unsure, or maybe even taking in unpleasant experience. All these are the range to be or become aware of. I'll hand you now back to Axel with the Yoga Joint School. The Joint School, beg your pardon, it's Joint School, it's not even Yoga Joint. Axel.
Thank you very much, Vaccasin. That was utterly wonderful, and indeed it was a start towards the Yoga Joint School, or indeed the first of what I hope will be a good run of a few sessions where we can build on the wonderful stuff that you've introduced to us here. And I really think that that many people will find this session helpful, and actually with that, is there anything? I mean, you mentioned quite a few modifications and variations as you went through. Is there anything else that you would like to flag or highlight before we sign off on this?
I think giving the range of movements in terms of, well, obviously if one's very limited, then, and I have been myself, this time last year, I was completely incapacitated with an immune system issue, and it was called polymyalgia rheumatica, and I quite literally could hardly move my upper body or my lower body. I was pretty incapacitated, especially from what I'm used to, but even I was on crutches and had a great deal of difficulty getting up the stairs and down. As I say, it was an autoimmune issue, and it's fairly common actually, but movement was really limited. And I certainly was in a lot of pain. But things like just straightening the leg, lifting up and extending into the heel, making the leg firm, There's no need to go forward if it's not available to you, or you're working with pressure through the joints, or maybe the various protective tissues around the joints or around the hips have been damaged. And that's all going to take time to heal. And what you're trying to do is make those nerve connections through movement, gentle application of extension, making maybe parts of the body, those muscles, firm with a lightness of touch, and then releasing. And just being with that experience and knowing that in engaging that way, engaging the mind engaging with the body, there is a lot of fertile ground there, even if you're very limited.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, thank you, Vaccasin, and of course for those who want to find out more, or indeed join some of the online classes that you yourself run, or others from Yoga Point. We will post a link to the Yoga Point website in the description here below this video. And you also do meditation classes in the mornings.
You would do regular meditation classes here. I am doing a free meditation. It's not even a class, it's a practice in the mornings at 6:30, Monday to Friday. It's on the Zoom. If you go to the Yoga Point website, you will have to sign up with our digital base, because unfortunately everything goes through the digital systems this way, but it is free. It's absolutely free. And you sign up for the morning session. You can sign up late, or you can sign well in advance, and you just come along. And we do about a 40 to 50 minute session where some explanation is given. And yeah, I have to say the feedback from it is very good. We have quite a few people joining us at that time in the morning.
Excellent, excellent. Well, so for our early risers out here who are interested in joining a meditation practice, we can add some information to make it clear and easier to find that beneath this video as well. Wonderful.
Thanks a lot there, Axel.
Thank you, Vaccasin. That's been really, really wonderful. And to everyone else out there, be well, stay safe, and keep up the good work with your practices. And we'll see you with the next video.